Welcome to the WebinarNinja 4.0 review. Life has been very busy for ninjas over the last 12 to 18 months. The big change, of course, with the WebinarNinja software was it cut off the ties with Google Hangouts. So no longer does WebinarNinja have that lengthy delay, that lag of 20 to 50 seconds between when the presenter says something and when the audience hears it. That's been a big change, a big shift in the webinar delivery system that underlies WebinarNinja. And now it appears that they're promising much more. 4.0 has just been released. And today I'm going to dive behind the computer and have a look, and I invite you to come with me as we have a bit of a tour of probably about 20 minutes duration looking at the new WebinarNinja and how it operates. Okay, let's go hop behind the computer and have a look.
Alright, let's begin on this unboxing video for WebinarNinja 4.0 by looking at the registration. So first I will log in, and I've already set up WebinarNinja. It took less than 10 minutes. It was very quick, very painless, very easy to set up WebinarNinja. And what I like about it is we've come straight in. This is the first time I've come into the new interface. And look, it's going to give us some tips. So it says, click this button to create a webinar. Cool, I've got it. Let's give that a crack. So create a webinar. And now we've got some options. So we've got options here between live, recurring live webinar, evergreen webinar, and anytime access. I think we'll start with a live webinar, keep it simple. And webinar title is, let's go with as soon as my typing skills improved, world's best webinar. We're not going to undersell this one, are we? Who's hosting the webinar? So I'll put my name in there. When is the webinar? Well, let's leave it. Your time zone is set automatically. I like that. We can edit that if we need to. But let's not say 1 a.m. Let's move to maybe 1 p.m. And let's change the date there. 1 p.m. through to, let's say, 2 p.m. Sounds fair. Is it free or paid? Let's make it free, because the vast majority of webinars are free rather than paid. So that's all looking pretty good to me. Create the webinar. And bingo, I'm guessing we're going to have here in a second a webinar. There we are. World's best webinar with typo included, hosted by me. We've already got the webinar registration page link ready to go. That sounds spectacular. So let's open that in a new tab and we'll have a look at that in a second. We can start or prep the webinar in the studio. We can edit our webinar. We can edit email notifications or other webinar options as well. So we could clone this webinar. We could set it up as a replay, or we could delete it. That all sounds fantastic. And also we've got share buttons. So straight away, we can start sharing this webinar straight away. I do love that. That sounds fantastic. So this page is loaded and look at that. That's nice. World's best webinar, an exclusive online webinar hosted by Damian Noud. Very elegant. Time to go, 2 days, 12 hours and 59 minutes. And we can register now if we want to. Let's come back to that and we'll have a look at that in a second. And let's enter the studio. Start or prep your webinar in the studio. Let's see what it's going to tell us, what options we're going to have. Is this a test webinar? If so, we'll get you logged into the webinar so you can have the full experience. Yes, this is a test webinar. No, this is the real thing. It wants to allow me to use these things, which is great. Oh, goodness me, there I am again. This is the chat area. Here you can chat with your webinar attendees, say hello. Got it. So we can do that down here. When you're ready, you can start your live webinar broadcast here. Got it. Once you start your broadcast, you can share your screen by clicking here. Got it. Nice. When your attendees ask you questions on the webinar page, they will show up here. Got it. Set polls for your attendees here. Create an offer for your attendees here. Check how many attendees you have on your webinar. You can also invite attendees to share the stage with you. That would be where they get the opportunity to show us their video, their webcam as well. Alright, so that all seems pretty straightforward and pretty nice. We've got a scroll bar here so we can go down and we can click through the questions or the polls or the offers. We'll need to get rid of this dialog box first. Let's go with, yes, this is a test webinar. And let's see what it does for the world's best webinar now that we're going to run a test. This webinar will begin shortly. Fantastic. World's best webinar, an exclusive online webinar hosted by Damian Noud. Sounds very fantastic. So this component looks like it's initialized and ready to go. All right, excellent. So let's have a look at the polls. No polls for speaker to answer. No offers available at this stage. Questions, no questions yet. I like this too. You can see the answered ones and the open ones. That makes it really easy for me as the webinar presenter to see where I'm at with my questions. Very easy to make that manageable. Okay, awesome. Well, that looks pretty good. So we'll exit out of that. And we'll go back here again so that we can start the webinar. So we can see what it looks like now for our participants. Polls. Create a poll. Let's create a poll. Oh, here we go, down the bottom. Type a question. In which state is New York City? Type an answer. New York might be a possibility. Could be Rhode Island. Let's add another answer. Could be New South Wales in Australia. Or let's say my backyard. You know how it is with tests and multiple choice and polls sometimes. You just have a stupid answer or something to give people a laugh with. Okay, so we've edited that. We've created a poll. I think that's all we need to do there. We look at this, we can edit it. What does it give us to? Oh, it gives us a chance to change those answers. That's pretty straightforward. And I guess that this gives us a chance to create another poll if we want. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. We'll cancel that. We'll just go with the one poll. It's pretty straightforward. Offers. Offer title. Offer details are placed here. Okay. So this must turn off and on. So during the webinar, we come back here to turn the offer on, or we can leave it off until whenever we like. Excellent. Offer title. Oh, the pencil, of course. Offer title. Let's go with Hang Out With Me. Save. Offer details are placed here. Let's say half-hour coaching session. Yep, that'll work. Keep it simple. Button 1. Oh, here's a hyperlink. Okay, edit it. Button 1. Okay. Click to register. Cool. Save. Done. Hyperlink it. HTTP. And I'll just send it straight to my website. Seems as logical a solution as any. Enter URL with HTTP or that one. Okay, perfect. I've got that right. And this will allow me to choose the color. Let's go with a red color. Whoa, that's bright. Let's go with that. Choose that. Okay, fantastic. Now it looks like we can have multiple buttons if we want. No, just one button's enough. But what would be interesting here is if we had multiple options. For example, one option could be for a full price. Second price could be maybe just 15 minutes at half price, so, or maybe a payment plan even. So the top button could take people to paying the full price straight up, and the bottom button could be about taking people to a series of 3 payments over 3 months. So I can see lots of flexibility in the way the offers are set up here. Good job, WebinarNinja. So we'll go save with that. All right, this is where we can see our attendees. Remember, we've just got the one here at the moment, which is me. Back to the offers, it's ready to go, but it's currently turned off. Polls, we've got that ready to go. Questions, we respond to the questions. There'll be open ones and there'll be answered ones, so we don't have to set that up in advance. you know, we're almost at the stage here where we could just let this loose and let it fly. Now this says it's initialized, so let's just throw a message in here. I'm not sure whether that's going to work given that we haven't started the webinar, but sure enough, there's a message waiting, and we've just got a little simple icon here at this stage. If we go into preferences, I'm sure that we can create a little avatar or something for me to replace that. That would be cool. Now let's just let this roll for a couple of seconds and see what happens when we say start the broadcast. Oh, here we go. So microphone is on and webcam is on. So I could turn either of those things off, which would be great. Let's start the broadcast. Are you sure you want to start your webinar broadcast? Once you start the broadcast, you cannot restart it. The broadcast will automatically be recorded as your webinar replay. Yes! Let's be brave. Let's be bold. Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar with no people in it. In fact, that's not quite true, because there is one, and that would be me. Damian Noud, there I am. So, we're off and racing. We can screen share. Please install the screen sharing extension and load your app over HTTPS. Okay, well I haven't done that yet. Oh, here it comes. It's going to give me a chance to do it. Very kind. Okay, so Chrome. I'm using Chrome here today, so it's giving me a chance to install that extension, allowing me to screen share. I find that installing extensions is quite easy, so that appeals to me that that's the way that that's going to roll. Excellent. And we're up and racing with the world's best webinar. There's the registration page still sitting there waiting for us. We won't touch that. Look, I think that's we'll stop the broadcast, see what it tells us. Are you sure you want to end this webinar? I like that to make sure that we don't end it by accident. Let's go OK. It thinks, it moves, it shuffles. What's it going to do? Congrats on completing your webinar. We're sure you did great. How did WebinarNinja do? You know what? I thought you did good. The little ninjas have done very well. And look at this. Looks like we've got an opportunity for a replay already. So I won't click that at this stage. Let's just take a pause. Okay, so let's see what's under the bonnet, under the hood. Media Manager. Okay. All right, we can view the video, download it, copy the link, or view the link straight away there, straight away. Very easy to identify which webinar it was. Excellent. Statistics and more. This is going to be a little tragic, I suspect. Okay, unique registration page visits 1. We had 1 registration. We had no attendees as such, just the organizer. We had no replay attendees at this stage. Conversion rate was fantastic. We had 1 person visit the registration page, and sure enough, I was at the webinar. Here's the registrations based upon a timeline. How cool is that? Goes back about 2 weeks, and we can see when people were joining. Do that weekly or monthly as well. So that's pretty cool. Retention rates in beta mode, that's fine. We can see who the registered users were, the webinars to do. We've got no to-dos, but we can create a list here. That's very handy. And we've got the calendar of our webinars. Here's the chat messages. So we've got a record of the chat automatically recorded by the WebinarNinja. Love it. Integrations. Now, WebinarNinja does have a stack of integrations. Let's have a look. With email, what have we got? We've got Constant Contact, ConvertKit, GetResponse, Infusionsoft. Nice. MailChimp, Aweber, or to HubSpot. So there's a couple of very sophisticated solutions there with HubSpot and Infusionsoft. MailChimp and Aweber will cover a lot of people. My personal favorite, ConvertKit, is there. So lots of options for people to integrate their emails with WebinarNinja, which gives you a chance to collect the emails and keep the emails separately without having to do any messing around, any double handling. That's brilliant. That's awesome. Admin settings. Okay, it's basically got some of my details here. It's got my time zone. It's got the date format. It's got my personal information here. Customize your webinar Ninja address URL. Choose your name or business name if available. And that's what this subdomain is about up here. So, got it. Choose what email your recipients will see as the email address when they send notifications. That's this one here. Got it. Your recipients will see this name as the from email when you send email notifications. That's this one here. So there's that email address when they write to us, and this one here when they're receiving an email from us. Time zone, got it. Here you can set how you want your dates and times are displayed publicly and in your account. Interesting. So there's lots of options here. Of course, for folks in the US and Canada, etc., the typical format is month, day, year. But in a lot of other parts in the world, it's day, month, year. So a million different options here. That's really, really nice. I like it. Make sure you save your changes. Good tip. Yeah, sure, will do. Let's have a look at support. Create a support ticket, go into the knowledge base or live chat support. So if you need help from the folks at WebinarNinja, they've made it very easy to find. Everything is here in this little dashboard on the left, and I'm guessing that makes it go away, and it does. And my personal settings are here, my account, change password, or to log out. That is awesome, very much like it. Now see that we can bring these guys back in as well. And that is it. I realise that we haven't done any editing of the webinar registration page yet, so maybe we might duck back and see how easy that is going to be to do. Create a webinar. I don't think we'll be able to adapt this one now, given that we've already had the webinar. Oh, here we go. Maybe we can. Well, let's clone it to start with, shall we? Yeah, let's create a clone. Bring in the clones. It's a copy now. Click this button to create a webinar. We got that. We got it covered. So now we're in the clone. Enter the studio to start or prep it. Edit your webinar. We might go to that first because I want to change the time. The time is going to change. So let's say we're going to move it 3 days later. Let's keep it at the same time. That's Pacific time. Save the changes. Thank you. Awesome. Edit webinar. Okay, so that's all of that information again. Basic or advanced? Oh, here we go. This is what I was after. So registration page, we can change the template or edit the one we've got. Registration pop-up form, thank you page, countdown page, and the webinar page. Very, very cool. Let's change the template. Let's have a look. And here we are. So the one we had a moment ago was this one here. And we've got some templates that look fairly standard with some of the best practices we see in webinar templates, but lots of options. You can have some with little bit of information, such as this one here, or we can have one with lots of information like this one here. And look at this video, folks, like that. So let's choose that one. Do you want to choose and customize this one? Yes, we do. I love video. I'm a video guy. I'm a webinaring video guy. So why wouldn't I choose that one? Here we go. And it's back. So, lots of options. Lots of Latin to replace, which is fine. Places for pictures and register here. Again, we can change the color of this button very easily. Let's change it to blue. That'll keep people happy who were disappointed that I moved away from the blue earlier. We can change the color of that one as well, and here, the date. All of this information is all set. How do we change this little bad boy? Oh, up here, pencil. Hello. Damian was a little slow on the uptake for that one. Okay, image or a video? Okay, paste your video link. All videos will be formatted to fit automatically. Enter with HTTP or the S. Please use only YouTube links. For others, please copy and paste full iframe code. That makes sense to me. Might be a little difficult for those of you who aren't up with all the video lingo, but basically if you've got a YouTube link, bam, just dive it in there. That's going to be simple, and that's going to work for most people as well. What you'll learn on the webinar, about the presenter, about host number 2 if there is one. If there's not, let's just get rid of them. Gone. That was easy. A little powered by WebinarNinja down the bottom. And we can cancel it, we can preview it, or we can save it. Let's save those changes that we've made. Excellent. Okay, and now it's moved us back into here again. If we go into advanced, Again, we'll have all these options as well. The registration form, the thank you page, we can edit the thank you page. And we wait for it to appear. And here it is. Thank you, you're all set. Check your email, we sent you all the info. See you on the webinar, share the webinar. This is great, this is terrific. This looks really easy. We can preview that. So this is the actual look at this stage of the thank you page without making any additions or changes to it. Very simple, very tidy. Got the add to calendar button. Love that. So we can add it to our calendar straight away. So really, this is looking spectacular. Okay, we're back here again. We'll cancel out of that now, and I'm guessing that'll take us back to that main dashboard, and it does. So this is great. We can change the countdown page, which is the page that people see when they go in getting ready for the webinar, and when they click on the button after they've secured their registration to go in and get started and watch the webinar, and we can update that, and also our webinar page as well. Look, this is terrific stuff. I don't think there's much else I can show you here. It seems to cover all the bases very easily. I hope you've enjoyed this tour of WebinarNinja 4.0. Touchdown!
In a few seconds, I'm going to give you a summary of what I've learnt today through our tour of WebinarNinja 4.0. But before that, I've got a gift for you. If you click the link below, you'll be able to grab a free copy of my Webinar Platforms Guide. I've prepared this guide for you to help you with either investigating and being more aware of the different types of webinar software programs available, or if you're actively looking and want a starting point for finding out which webinar software programs might be right for you. It goes through the 4 types of webinar platforms, it goes through the pros and cons of each, and has a worksheet to help you with your individual situation find the best webinar software for you. It also has links to a lot of the major types of webinar software programs and their pricing pages. So if that sounds helpful, grab a copy today of my free Webinar Platforms Guide and enjoy. So, what have I learnt today from our tour of looking at WebinarNinja 4.0 for the first time? Well, I want to say this is probably the biggest shift up, the biggest change, the biggest improvement in webinar software programs since maybe the change from Webinar Jam to Webinar Jam Studio. I see that what has happened with WebinarNinja 4.0 now is that they have a complete package. It has lots of options for producing different types of webinars, including evergreens. I love that about what they've done here in terms of keeping that flexibility, but making it available to people at different price points and creating a broader market. I think it's a complete package in many regards. So well done to the ninjas. I think they've done a great job. The big question that remains, of course, is going to be reliability. So if WebinarNinja manages to present reliable experiences for its customers and for webinar presenters consistently, this is going to be one serious package to deal with. And the beauty of it all is we've got that 14-day trial to go out and give it a spin as well. So if WebinarNinja 4.0 appeals to you based upon what you see today, I think it's worthwhile giving it a shot if it's a webinar software that's going to fit your needs. I think you were a champion for making it through to the end of today's long video. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you've got a lot of value out of it. Please subscribe and have an awesome day. There are 5 reasons to buy WebinarNinja 4.0. If you're on the lookout for some new webinar software, then WebinarNinja 4.0, which has been